We are privileged to have with us someone who offers not only deep expertise, but profound insights. So without further ado, we'd like to welcome our first speaker for the day onto the stage. Dr. Sonakshi Ruhela is a psychologist, educator, and TEDx speaker with over 15 years of experience in teaching, research, and counseling. A Harvard-certified expert in higher education, she's a senior fellow of the UK's Higher Education Academy and a consultant psychologist at Open Mind Psychiatry in Dubai. In her TEDx talk, Sharenting, Balancing Connection and Privacy in the Digital Age, Dr. Ruhela will explore the rising trend of parents sharing their children's lives online. Please give Dr. Sonakshi Ruhela a large round of applause.
Where is the mic? Give me a heads up. Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to share and speak on a very, very interesting and relatively new phenomenon. It's called sharenting. But before I share with you on sharenting, let me take you through the story of a friend of mine. Shivani and I were school friends. We were not the best of friends, but we were always connected socially. And one thing that I was fairly aware of was that Shivani was a fairly social person. It was very evident from her posts, whether it was about her educational achievements, whether it's about her marriage, whether it's about her childbirth, whether it's about the gender reveal promotions, whether it's about those large parties that she would be hosting for her friends, her move to London, and eventually it became all about the first child, the second child, and so on and so forth, till it became a dossier of 1 million pictures or so of Shivani, her children, and her family experiences. So much so that Shivani actually became the talk of the town. So like me, there were several other in our school who were constantly talking about Shivani. So much so that we declared that Shivani has gone from a fairly social person to now an annoyingly social person. And because we are friends, so we often spoke to her about it as well. And she was very easy, she was very good to dismiss it and say, no, you know, this is good, we're new parents, we're just discussing, gathering community, all of that became the narrative for her. Nonetheless, what is most exciting is that it's not only me. There are several who are watching the activities of these thousands of young parents who regularly post about their children on social media. In fact, you'll be surprised to know that 95% of the children have their digital footprints by the age of 2 years. So much so that some children have their digital footprints even before their birth. Isn't that exciting? And that's when the Wall Street journalist Stephen Leckart in the early 2010 came up with the word called sharenting, which is a combination of sharing plus parenting, and often talks about the phenomenon that parents overshare information about their children, about their family experiences on the social media quite repetitively on regular basis. And so, it's almost like an unconscious journey from the crib to the cyberspace. You'll be surprised to know that on an average by age 13, 1,300 photos, videos, and pictures of the children are on social media. And surprisingly, by age 18, approximately 70,000 pictures go on social media, every year. What is most exciting for me is how parents actually use this for commercial sharenting purposes, which basically means that they use this information for monetization through followership. And this was raising an alarming concern. So much so that it created the strongest of the debate among psychologists when they said, is it okay to have digital footprints of your children at such an early age, or would it become a frightening reality of tomorrow? And when we had that thought, naturally, we had to figure out what was the compulsive need in parents. What was the compulsive need in parents to actually share or overshare content on social media? For looking into it, we deep dive into the principles of social psychology and found out two very important reasons. One was answered by the theory of planned behavior. Now, theory of planned behavior talks about three factors. Factor number one is a positive attitude. Factor number two is subjective norms. And factor number three is a perceived behavioral control. Now, let me put this through in sharenting and explain it to you. If parent has a positive attitude towards the use of social media, and subjective norm which says everybody's sharing so I can share too. If X is talking about their daughter on social media, what is the harm in me talking about my son on social media? And the third, which is a perceived behavioral control, wherein they say, listen, this is my account. This is my TikTok, my Instagram, my Snapchat. Anytime I want to remove the picture, I can remove the picture. When all these three factors combine together, it makes a behavioral intention. And what is the behavioral intention of parents who do sharenting? Is to have a significant social identity. That was the first reason we figured out as social psychologists. The second that we figured out was aspirationalism, more like social validation. Yeah? To have a scenario where you say, listen, my child is doing so much, or we as parents are so invested in our child's growth. The flip side to that is when social validation turns into a social obsession. So much so that there is constant checking of the messages, constant checking of these notifications, and that's exactly when Shivani came back to me. She entered therapy. Her social validation, seeking support from new parents, building a community of new parents had suddenly become into a social obsession, where every single post that she was making, she would go back and check it over and over and over again to figure out, hey, why is my picture not liked? Why did they make a comment like that? Is it a nice comment? Is it a not so nice comment? When she entered therapy, she was anxious, stressed, definitely distressed, exhausted. She had developed social anxiety and she'd also had a panic attack. So what is most important for us to understand is when there are leading publications literally screaming every day of the tangible risks and hazards of sharenting, then why is it that people are still engaging in it? And what potentially are the tangible risks? Now, one tangible risk, most importantly, is the long-term emotional impact on the child. Because when a parent shares a picture and captions it, it's quite possible that caption and that picture is not something that your child associates with. So it can have long-term emotional impacts. But besides that, a UK report, Barclays predicted that by 2030, 2/3 of the identity frauds in the world would be due to sharenting. Can you believe that? Almost costing hundreds and millions of dollars every year. The third most important tangible risk is that when you put that picture of your child on the social media, there are these millions of strangers who have access to that open platform who can use that picture, very well use that picture for guilt, embarrassment, humiliation, and in some cases, abducting the child as well. Oh, I know your child leaves everyday school at 2 o'clock and reaches at 2:30 home. And for 30 minutes, sometimes your child stops at a particular bakery to pick up a cake. Yeah? So it's such a pattern that while it's individual pieces, while you put individual pieces of information on social media, it's harmless. But when you look at it collectively, it actually portrays your life. So those become very tangible risks in general. So naturally, as psychologists, what is the foremost responsibility that we have? That how do we handle this situation? So to all the parents, very importantly, the first and the foremost method in which you can handle this situation is by actually having a thought compass in your decision making. Be reflective in your parenting practices and figure out why is it so important for you to put this particular picture of your child on social media? Why is it important for you? What is motivating you? What are you fetching from that caption that you're putting there? So that becomes one of the most important features for you to have a thought compass in your decision making. Number 2, very importantly, geotagging or understand your privacy settings really well, especially when you put that location. Yeah? So if there is a possibility, and rather you should avoid it as much as you can. Number 3, very important, have that social media talk with your children. Why? Because it's quite possible they don't resonate with your ideas. They don't associate with what you're posting. They're uncomfortable in you posting an embarrassing picture. I mean, it's cute to have a spaghetti hanging over your head, or it's cute to spill over something and have those wobbly feet there, but nonetheless, it's quite possible that you're somebody who does not enjoy, your child is somebody who does not enjoy that picture out there. So have that social media talk with them. Number 4, very importantly, set some boundaries with your friends and family as well. So discuss with them, I'm not comfortable sharing the picture of my child on the social media, so we can click it, but I'm sorry, you'll have to take consent from my child. Is it possible you can take consent from my child? Show the pictures to them. So setting boundaries is a very important aspect. Number 5, social role modeling. Very important again. The need to understand that real is not real, and real is not real. And that it's so important to network with people and have those human connections than Netflix sometimes. So if we understand the difference and we actually role model the right kind of format of connecting with people, then it's always much easier. Last but not the least, it's very important that we do not share any information that contains the name or any other related information about your child, like a passport or a boarding pass, or something like in India, a ration card, for example. These kind of things, the more you can avoid, the better it is, because it'll give a profile of your child to the perpetuator. Nonetheless, most important, let's not forget, the internet never forgets. So that information that you're putting out there is a permanent information, and a version of your child is frozen forever. Thank you so much.